At the northern edge of Scotland, where the Atlantic meets the North Sea, lies an archipelago shaped by wind and wave for millennia. This is Orkney, a land of ancient myths, where the boundary between the real world and the spiritual realm is as thin as the morning mist. The ancient Celts called places like this thin places, intersections where the veil between worlds is almost non-existent. Human history here is deeper than recorded stories, etched into Neolithic villages like Skara Brae, buried under sand for thousands of years. This is a world built on stone and bone, a place where the past never truly dies. It simply waits. For centuries, the fishermen and farmers here have passed down stories of the sea, a source of life, but also a grave. They spoke of spirits, of mermaids, and of demons. These stories were not just entertainment, they were warnings, survival guides, encoded into mythology. But of all the horrors born from the abyss, no name inspires more absolute terror than Nuckelavee. A name whispered with disgust, a word synonymous with plague on the wind and death from the tide. A nightmare of flesh and bone, an entity of plague and decay. It is not merely a predator, it is a force of nature, an extinction event given form. It is the very embodiment of ruin, a terrible reminder that ancient forces still lurk just beneath the surface of our world, waiting for their time to rise. The Nuckelavee is not a solitary demon. It is part of a complex cosmology, an eternal war between the seasons. According to legend, it is the mortal enemy of the Mither of the Sea, an ancient, benevolent spirit of the summer. Its arrival signals decay. It was blamed for mysterious plagues, prolonged droughts, and failed harvests. Its breath, known as mortasheen, was a toxic vapor that could wilt crops, kill livestock, and spread sickness among humans. It was believed that even the burning of seaweed to create kelp, a vital industry at the time, angered the Nuckelavee with its pungent smoke, and it would retaliate by inflicting a plague upon horses. One of the most famous tales of the Nuckelavee was recorded by folklorist Walter Traill Denison in the 19th century. It tells of a farmer named Thomas who had a terrifying encounter with the beast. While walking home, Thomas felt something following him. Turning, he was horrified to see the skinless creature, its single eye burning, charging toward him. Knowing he could not fight, Thomas had only one option. He ran for his life, the horrific clatter of the Nuckelavee's hooves growing ever closer. The monster reached with its grotesque long arms, trying to snatch him. Thomas could feel the heat radiating from its body and the foul stench of decay. But Thomas knew one thing, a fatal weakness of the demon. The Nuckelavee has the form of a horse, but no ordinary one. From its back, where a rider would sit, sprouts the torso of a man, but with no legs. The entire body is a single monstrous fusion. This is no noble centaur. This is a blasphemy against both forms, a demonic hybrid. And from that mouth it unleashes its ultimate weapon, the mortasheen. Folklorists believe this was the ancient way of explaining unseen plagues. Before germ theory, people believed in miasma, bad, toxic air rising from places of decay, something invisible, deadly, that came from the sea and brought destruction. The Nuckelavee's breath was that explanation. Though it originates from a remote archipelago, the terror of the Nuckelavee has crossed the borders of Orkney and seeped into modern popular culture. Its unique and horrifying image has become an endless source of inspiration for authors, artists, and game developers. From the cult Japanese RPG series Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, where it is ranked among powerful demons, to the popular web series RWB, the Nuckelavee often appears as a formidable foe, a symbol of rot and pestilence. Each time it appears, it is reimagined, yet its core essence remains unchanged, an entity of pure destruction. Stories like that of the Nuckelavee are not merely fairy tales to frighten children. They are maps to the psychology of a people, a way to understand and confront the fears of a precarious world. The Nuckelavee was the Orcadian answer to the question, why do bad things happen? It was the explanation for a world without microbiology, where a plague could wipe out a village for no apparent reason. Today, science has given us explanations for bacteria, for climate change, for the real reasons behind failed crops and disease. But do those explanations truly banish the darkness? In a world grappling with global pandemics, with invisible viruses that can cross oceans in hours, and with an environment changing in alarming ways, the myth of the Nuckelavee feels less distant. It reminds us that, no matter how advanced our technology, we are still vulnerable to forces of nature we cannot fully control. Or, on a cold winter's night, when the wind howls outside the window and the sound of the sea is like a lament, do we still feel a primal fear, the fear of the devil of the sea, waiting for his time to return?